So today we confront the trap of just enough. Just enough. And I know that as I say this, our minds are already racing. Yeah. And I'm not giving you time to breathe into this show, and I'm not giving you time to breathe into this broadcast. What I want is to jolt you, to wake you up, and to just make you hate an average life, a mediocre life. That is not what God intended for us. Let me tell you, the moment you get to understand what God intended for you, that's the moment you'll be like, you know what? If he intended it for me, that means he has given me the power. That means he has equipped me. That means I have everything I need to be everything I want to be. Now, as I'm talking to you, definitely I'm talking to myself, I'm talking to everyone that is watching this. I just want us to get out of that place. God has intended good things for us. He has he has predestined a good future for us. He says, before our parts were woven together in the secret places, before your parts were woven together, before your head, your abdomen, if it's called an abdomen, your stomach, as in every part on your body, before it was woven together in the secret place, he knew you and he predestined a good future, a predestined future. That is the future that he has intended that you will live in abundance. But what happens is, and the reason as to why I'm actually talking about this is because of the 100 days of becoming. My goodness, the sprints that we are having of 100 days of becoming have opened so much as to why people are stuck, as to why people are just not moving forward, as to why people are just not making the right decisions, as to why. So for me, this is an eye-opener, a whole different level of eye-opening as to why we are not living the lives the lives that we want, or the lives that God intended us to live. That is why today I felt like talking about escaping the trap of just enough, or the middle class. We all know that in this world there's different classes, and we are clustered and categorized. Whether we want it or not, we are clustered and we are categorized. And whether you want to admit it or not, you know the cluster you belong to. You know that maybe you have fought, because I'm talking to all sorts of people in this in this broadcast. I'm talking to people that are still down. They have not made their headway. They have not even moved from the lowest kind of cluster, or the lowest kind of status. Yeah. So there are people that are still languishing and lamenting. Yeah. On the first floor, or the first status, which is, not even average. Because when we talk about average, that means you have fought a little bit. When we talk about middle class, that means you're still in the lower class. There are people that I'm talking to. And let me tell you, us admitting where we are is the first place for us to address what we need to address in order to level up. The reason as to why we usually talk about, I'm leveling up, level up. We talk about these things and they become cliche, but actually they are not cliches. There is such a thing as leveling up. There is such a thing as going from one class to another class, and crossing from that class to another class. Okay, and so there is such a thing as going from the lowest class to the middle class, and from the middle class to the upper class, or to the high class, or whatever it is that you want to call it. But there's so many of us that are still trapped in the middle class, because we have just enough, because we can eat, because we have a roof over our shoulders or over our heads, because we can afford some schools, because we can afford, but we are living in a perpetual state of worry, a perpetual state of lack of satisfaction, a perpetual state of lack of fulfillment, a perpetual state of worrying about the uncertainties of the future. We are on the hamster wheel of the middle class. Now, the moment you get to acknowledge and say, okay, I've not even left the lowest class, I'm still languishing here. What do I do to get out of here? The most dangerous is not, it's actually easier to get out of the lowest class, because most of the people will admit that, you know what, this is the zero level. I really need to build from here. I really need to fight from here. Now, most people, the reason as to why they will fight with all their might to get out of the lowest level is because I mean, there is a lot of discomfort. It's because they want better. It's because they have the enthusiasm. It's because they are highly motivated, because they are running away from something. They are running away from poverty. They are running away from, lack of food. They are running away from lack of shelter. They are running away from... So it's easy for people to leave the lower class or the lowest class. But it's hard for people to actually leave the middle class. Why? Because there is a bit of comfort. And when we were beginning this series, the series of 100 Days of Becoming, remember, we actually talked about it, and we talked about the fact that we need to get out of comfort, we need to get out of the costing season, and we need to go to the challenging season. Now, the challenging season is the stretching season, is the season that, you feel like, what, I'm not going to settle where I am, I need better. Now, that is what happens at the first level or the lowest level. People are always challenged. They're like, what, I'm running away from something. So poverty is chasing them, and they're saying, no, it's not catching up with me. However, when we get to the middle class, that is where most people actually sit and settle. Do you remember, for those of you that are Bible readers, the difference between Haran and Canaan? That when they left when they left Egypt, they got to a place called Haran, and they settled because it was a border city. There was a lot of transaction. There was a lot of business. There was a lot. It just looked like, what? If there is milk and honey, this might as well be the milk and honey. Because there is everything happening in this place. I mean, there are women, there are men, people are marrying, people are settling, people are giving birth, people are doing businesses, people are trading in gold, people are trading, as in people have animals, they have stock, they have it just looks good. But remember, if they had remained there, they would have risked never getting into the promised land that was promised to them by God, to their forefathers by God, and say that it is a land that is flowing with milk and honey, and that is where there was a destiny that God was taking them to. But there was a temptation of getting to in the middle of the journey while they were running away. Yeah, and this gives me the perfect example. While they were running away from the too many hours of work, they were running away from the slavery, they were running away from being beaten while they were... Have you ever watched those movies or videos of Israelites in Egypt and how they were making those straw bricks and how they were beaten every time? You would not even rest. You would not even just bend and say, you're not doing anything, or rest your body. You had to be in motion all the time. Yeah, you had to be in motion all the time. So there was a lot that was happening, and so they were running from that. But when they got somewhere in the middle of the journey and things seemed to be okay, remember there is a promise of the promised land, they decided to settle. For some reason, they decided to settle. So what are those traps? What are those traps that are keeping us behind, okay, that are keeping us, or that are not just distracting us, but they are keeping us locked in one position that we actually don't want to be? Just enough. And while I was looking at this, I am talking about the transformation. What kind of pain it brings for us to stay longer in the middle class, okay, and then how to actually transform from that pain, or to walk away from that pain and be able to redeem our lives. And I want us to start with, let's just start with the distraction. So many people in the middle class are distracted. So many people. I know this because I was once in the middle class, yeah, and I know the temptation to get distracted all the time. The temptation to get distracted all the time, because there's so many things that are happening. Yes, you have a bit of akamani, yeah, and so because you have a bit of akamani, luckily enough, I'm not the kind who got satisfied. I'm not the kind who gets satisfied easily. I'm always on to the next thing. I'm always chasing the next thing. I'm always, up and enthusiastic about what God can do, what else God can do in my life. And being that I'm into people developing, I usually look at myself as a yardstick for so many. So if I ever settle at a certain level, that means I'm causing so many people to settle, and yet I don't want them to settle. So now that has kept me going, because you cannot, why would I settle and yet I want people to cross over, to live the lives that how God intended them? And so I discovered that distraction is one of those things. There's a lot of a lot of entertainment, a lot of hanging out. And I have seen this. When you go to most of these places, you will see so many people. And I'm not saying hanging out is not bad. No, it is not bad. But we want to entertain ourselves too much. There's a lot of even soccer. Soccer is not bad. There's a lot, but it's like we are looking for something to distract us, from the reality. The reality is where we are is not enough. The reality is what we have is not enough. The reality is there is a better life that we actually want. We long for that life. We know it. We have seen the people that live it. But we're just not moving because there's a lot of distractions, a lot of things that are actually distracting us now. How do you actually move away from that? Because there's social media, there's entertainment, there's endless scrolling, there's, so many things that are happening around us. And they rob you. What they rob from you is the focus. You cannot focus. Because if you're supposed to build an empire, if you're supposed to build income, if you're supposed to build more streams of income, whatever it is, you need a sense of focus. And I will tell you this, and let me just give you this equation, because it's going to help you. It has helped me so much, so much. There are certain levels of my life where I'm not going to be, I wasn't balanced at all. We all look for the work-life balance, or we look for whatever it is. We usually think there is a balance. For me, it's actually not a balance. There are so many times I spent in focus, like in laser focus mode, than I spent in balance. And that is why I usually say to people that you being single is an advantage. You being single, because there are not so many things that demand your balance. The reason as to why we'll talk about balance is because there's so many things important things that need your attention. For example, after you get married, that is when you need to balance your home, you need to balance your husband, if you're a woman, you need to balance your children. As in, there is a lot, I usually call it harmony, but so many times it will never be in harmony. There is always something that is being robbed in order for another thing to survive. So sometimes the job is robbing you of the time, but you need the money. And sometimes you're giving so much time to family, but you're robbing that from the job. So that means they cannot stay in perfect harmony. One must always lack in order for another thing to actually thrive. Now, even when it comes to pursuing purpose, even when it comes to making money, because middle class, the classifications are really monetary. So we are going to stick to the monetary. Yes, because I love talking about money. Yes, you love money. I love money. Yes, and I love money because it helps me serve God. It helps me advance the gospel. The reason as to why I'm here is because I actually use money to get to you. All right? So I love money. Money makes life simple. It simplifies life. So let's stick to the middle class, earning-wise or monetary-wise, and not just take away all the other things. Now, when you are single, when I was single, the reason as to why I dove in, it was a complete nosedive into, creating the life that God intended for me. I didn't have anything else to balance that with, definitely, but I was laser focused. I said, you know what, it is either now or now. I don't have any other time to create the streams of income, to find my purpose, to develop my purpose, to deploy my purpose, to do everything that I actually need to do. Now, by the time I actually got into marriage, I knew definitely I will have to find balance. And the balance is I need more time for family. And that means I need to be in and out of focus, and but in between focus and balance. Now, when I was single, it was focus. Like the biggest amount of my time was focus, and so I didn't have, the balance was small. If I had to, I've had a relationship, the balance was really small because it was not too demanding. When I got married, that means I needed to have more spaces of balance and then have fewer spaces of focus. But when I got those fewer spaces of focus, my friend, I would actually dive in like wholeheartedly. The fewer spaces of focus for me were like, okay, now this is my time for redemption. This is my time to dive in. This is my time to look in. This is my time, because this time is also going to help me that while I'm in the balance, in the balancing mode of family, of children, of husband, of, everything else, I'm not going to be lamenting and saying, you know what, I wish I had more time. I wish I had time. There are so many of us that are dealing with family, but we are like, I wish I had more time for my business, to be on my business. So you're in with family, but your mind is not with family. So you're not balancing at all. So while you're starting, I want you to give yourselves bigger chunks of times for focus. It's going to help you. Once you lock that in, it's going to create a momentum, and a momentum that is going to help you, that even when you find the times for balance, because as we grow older, this is what I programmed my life to look like, and I'm so glad that I'm still moving with that program, that as I grow older, I want more times of balance than focus. So that means right now I should be able to talk to myself that, Hilda, you need to focus more, in order to have more balance next year. You need to focus. So I tend to steal moments of focus to make sure that my balance time is going to actually be bigger, because then I will have more time to serve. I will have more time to enjoy with my family. I'll have more time to, to take care of the people that I love. I'll have more time to lead the way I'm supposed to lead. But the moments of focus, for me, they lock in my financials. Yes, they lock in my earning. They lock in that when I'm reinventing, like right now, I'm reinventing accelerated mentorship. I'm reinventing all my courses. So right now, I'm actually in a moment of not complete hibernation, but I have more periods of focus, so that I can actually have more balance. So between, in the coming months, I want to have, like 3 straight months where I'm not really working on the internal business of accelerated mentorship and all the other courses and all the other services that I have, because I'm about to get into a time that is so busy with travel and with family and stuff like that. So if that does not work for you, I don't know what's going to work for you, because for me, it has actually worked for me, locking in the time. But that means dealing away with any form of distraction. Distraction is going to keep you in the middle class for so long. Distraction is going to keep you in the upcoming for so long. So can you focus? Can you tell yourself? There's a scripture in Proverbs 4:25 that says that let your eyes look straight ahead, fix your gaze directly before you, as in protect your attention. What you focus on grows. Protect your attention. If I am going to give attention to my financial situation, if I'm going to give attention to the kind of work that I'm doing, if I'm going to give attention to my clients, if I'm going to give attention, whatever you focus your attention on, and let me tell you, attention is currency these days. The reason as to why they will create every other platform that is highly distracting us, and you stay on shorts, you stay on TikTok, like everything is demanding for attention. Why? Because attention pays. Now just imagine you're busy paying other people with your attention and no one is actually paying you, because you have not created anything that anyone can actually concentrate on or focus on, and it is actually bringing you money. How pathetic. So if you need to redeem yourself, and I want to run a marathon because I want us to talk about more traps, so that you can find yourself in one of the traps and say, you know what, this is a trap that has been keeping me in the middle class. And then there are so many of us that pretending to be in or out of the middle class. But I will tell you, the world can see different because of the cars that you have, because of the houses that you have, because of whatever it is that you have. But internally, you are struggling. The best thing is for you to admit and say, okay, I need to get out of this middle class. Okay, I need to be able to focus. I need to be, let me not get distracted, because when people get a bit of money, the distractions become more, because then everyone is inviting you, because you have a car, you can go anywhere, because I mean you because you have some money, because you have a card, you can spend on anything, because so we have the false impression of we have arrived, and we are giving everyone else the false impression of we have arrived, and yet there is no arrival. There is no arrival at all. So distraction is one of those things that is going to rob you of your pace, of your speed, or the need to even get out of the middle class. Let's talk about the debt, because so many of us are actually tied to debt. Yeah, so many of us, and as I speak, you're looking at me and you're actually laughing. And so most of the times the debt, there's two types of debts that I'm going to talk about, but this debt that I want to talk about right now is the debt that you keep passing on, you know, even to your future generations. It is not just financial, but it is emotional, it is generational. Children inherit financial debts from people. So just that means if you are not in proper standing right now, it is not only affecting you, but it is affecting the people in your life. Just imagine if you're a mother, if you're a father, and I mean, life is very unpredictable, and all of a sudden, I mean, the things that you're doing, they are not bringing in the money, but they are taking away the money, okay, or you're overspending because you're in the middle class, you're over-consuming, you're taking kids to schools that you cannot afford, you're staying in a house that you cannot afford, you're driving a car that you cannot afford. Yes, people drive cars that they cannot afford. They even live a lifestyle that they cannot afford. And who are you leaving that burden with? Your children. They are going to feel the wrath of that burden. So I hope that you can be able to redeem yourself, because the Bible says in Proverbs still 13:22, it says that a good man leaves inheritance for his children's children. That is a man that has invested in assets. That is a man that is not living above his earning capacity. That is a man that is out by the time you leave inheritance for your children's children. That means the intention of God is for us to leave inheritance for our children's children. That means his intention is that we will be filthy rich. His intention is that we will live in abundance, that you cannot even consume it, you cannot finish it, that even when the time comes for you to go, your children have enough and your children's children have enough. And that is why we say that if you become a blessing, you become a blessing to the fourth generation. Just like if you become a curse, you become a curse even up to the curse goes on. It is passed down the lane up to the fourth generation. Is that what you'd want? I think if you had a fighting chance, you'd fight to see that your children are well catered for, your children are well catered for. That will be the pride of any parent. That will be the pride of anyone as I am talking to you right now. So staying in the middle class because of the comfort that it provides, and coasting around and not challenging yourself to grow or to become better, that is not working to anyone's advantage. Not for you, not for your children, not for your children's children. All right? Not for you, not for your children, not for your children's children. So transformation comes when you choose financial discipline, so you can break the cycle even for the future generations. Because history is going to go down. You are writing history right now. So if you are the kind that is going to pass down the misery, then that is how you have chosen to actually write it. So I don't want you to be addicted to date, okay? Get out of being distracted all the time, and then we ought to stop being delusional. We ought to stop being delusional. Delusional in a way that we believe that the education, the status, and the titles that we have, they will guarantee financial stability. No, they don't. They actually don't. That I have enough, you know, I'm still okay. That's being delusional. That is being delusional. I'm still okay. And today I actually thought about it, and I will say this. I hope that you can be able to understand it the way I'm talking about it. That when a rich man tells you or cries and tells you, oh, the season is not good, everything is not moving the way that I thought they would move, I don't want you to ever think that you're in the same league. I don't want you to ever think that actually he means what he is saying. Yes, he could mean what he's saying, but remember, he means it at a different tier. He means it at a different level. Yes? So while you're talking about, oh, the season is not good, and you have zero, like you have zero savings, you have zero investment, you have zero, and you're saying, you're also throwing, I mean, oh, the season is not good, oh, the economy is not good, all things are not good, I mean, finances are just not financing. Things are not good. While you are talking about that, if you're in the middle class and you have nothing to show, no investment, no savings, nothing, be very careful, because the rich person that you're having this conversation with, and it's like you're having the same kind of conversation, a rich person will say the season is not good when they have $1 billion in investment. Not even just now, not just in, not investment as in real estate and all that. No, in paper investment as in something that can be liquidated tomorrow, and he will have the money. So he has more than $1 billion in a paper investment, and he has billions in assets. But guess what? They will come to the same table, have the same conversation of the season is not good. Oh, the economy is going down. Oh, and you who has zero everything, you don't even know what paper investment is. You don't even have any investment, as in, okay, saluchanga nkoko ya mutamivu. Like, if I get money tomorrow, then I survive. I get money tomorrow, I survive. You survive day by day, and how a day shows. And most of the times, those people will not even be at the lowest class. They will be in the middle class. You cannot tell anyone that you're looking for fuel, but you don't have fuel. But while you're saying that the economy is not good, while you're saying, money is just scarce, I mean, things are going down, you're believing for the next 10,000 or 20,000 so that you can feed your family with whatever meal you can feed them, and still have maybe transport to come back to town, and plan how you can actually get money or even borrow from the next person. While the same person you've been having the same conversation with, the one that is not in the middle class, has gone to fill his tank with fuel, and maybe all the 6 cars or all the 3 cars or the 4 cars that he has are full, yeah? And he is not lacking what to eat. He is not believing and saying, oh, I wish today I can get 10,000. Oh, I wish today I can get... No. All that is cared for. And it's very possible that his pantry at home is full. Yeah. It's possible that his pantry is full. That he will not... even if he does not buy food today, it's possible that he will not buy food for the next 2 months, and he's still okay. Yeah. But when you come on the table, and maybe when you go to borrow money from them, or there's something that needs money, you will all have the same conversation of, there's no money in the economy, things are really going bad. And he means it. Because it's possible that a few of his investments are being shaken, or it's possible that, money is not coming in as fast as it used to come, but it's not that he's badly off. So be very careful. Uonyumiza. Embozizo. Be very careful that sometimes you will not be at par. You will not be on the same lane. So the delusion here is thinking, I'm still okay. I can survive. Some of us we have been used to surviving and survival modes for so long that we don't know any other way. We feel life it's just supposed to be. So you're supposed to survive. Let me tell you, I have stayed in a place of survival before. I know what a place of survival. I know what poverty means. I'm like Paul. I know what poverty really, real poverty means. Where you have nothing to eat. You have no roof over your head. I know what that poverty looks like. I have stayed in it before. I have tasted its wrath. I know what it means to get out of poverty and start climbing up and get a glimpse of what the middle class holds, or even test and be at the middle class. I know what that means, where you're in a survival mode. Yes, you're driving. Yes, you have an apartment, but you get to paying rent and you're like, oh God, the money has taken too long to come. Yeah. Or, and then you're thinking, I remember one of some of those days, I'll be like, you know what, I'm not driving into town to go and sit in traffic. So I used to drive from Namirembe, and now, according to other people, when they look at you, they're like, "Oh my God, she is driving." But you're actually in the middle class. So I would cross from Namirembe, go to Sao Paulo Kagwa. But Sao Paulo Kagwa used to have a lot of traffic. So I'll be like, you know what? I'm not driving to go and sit in traffic and then burn all this fuel. All I want is to get out of office when I'm just hitting Sao Paulo Kagwa Road, get to the bypass and drive to Chira, because I used to stay in Chira back then. And I mean, according to other people's standards, the apartment I was staying in was a good posh standard apartment for a single girl. If a single girl is staying in a 3-bedroomed apartment, I mean, everyone is like, wow, you're driving your own car. Wow. It's like you're ticking some people's checking some people's boxes, and I mean, everything is adding up. But little do they know is you I mean, you're just surviving. You are just surviving, because then you have to fuel the car, you have to pay rent on time. And then remember, my income was not that predictable because I was not employed. I was in self-employment, and so it's quite hard. The seasons would be quite hard, but everyone would be like, wow, she's doing well for herself. Yeah. So there's so many people that you look at and they are doing well for themselves, but they are in survival mode, like constant hamster, level kind of survival. All right. And you just need, many of us, we don't look at it the way it is supposed to be looked at. But the problem is when you get delusional and you're like, I'm okay. I mean, life will be good, but you are in the survival mode. That is not what God called us to live in. I believe God has called us to live in abundance. Yeah. And so his abundance, when I discovered that, actually it is around that same time that I discovered that, you know what, I mean, yes, I know I've believed in God for so long, and I believe in a God that makes things beautiful and makes them, but I do not have to stay in a survival mode to believe that God is working. No, I can actually cross over to a place of abundance where I do not have to worry about anything, but I will be able to actually serve God more. I would even pray and say, God, this survival mode, I'm not helping anyone. I don't want to be in a place where it is about me and how I survive and how I go about today. I want to get to a place where I can think about other people and how to be able to be a blessing to them in order to better their lives. So I need to get out of this survival mode. And so I was like, okay, how do I get out of this survival mode? That is how I went into, I've been doing multiple businesses. That is how I went into multiple investments. That is how I went to, and I mean, that gives you the stability to serve God happy. That gives you the stability. So when you see me showing up, I'm showing up from a place of satisfaction, from a place of thriving, from a place of abundance. And let me tell you, that rubs on to everyone that you meet, to the people that I mentor, to the people that I talk to. As in, it is an oil, it is an anointing, and it rubs off onto people. If you find a speaker, and so many people are still, yes, in the cluster of survival, but still how they speak will be different. How you speak when you are thriving, how you motivate when you're thriving, how you help other people when you're thriving is totally different. It's a different ballgame, because it's more of from a place of rest. It's more from a place of you're not fighting for any platform. Just like other people were telling me, but why are you coaching and mentoring all these coaches? Are they going to take business from you? No, I'm past the level of fighting for business. I am past the level of fighting for business. If anything, I would want the people that I mentor to thrive more. I would want to give them more platforms. I would want to give them, to refer them to so many people. There's so many speaking engagements. There's so many, because remember I told you my formula that now I'm more into balance than focus, but the seasons will change, and sometimes I will go back into more focus than even balance. So now that I'm more taking on the balance, I actually tend to, someone invites me for a speaking engagement and I'm like, you know what, I'm actually not available, not because I'm not available. I'm actually, I would be available, but I would rather be in my home. I would rather be with my husband. I would rather be with my children. I would rather be, But why? Because I have invested enough to be able to actually chill and have the sense of balance and have the sense of harmony without being on the hamster wheel, pounding every time and working endlessly because I'm in a survival mode. So I will tell, but I know someone that can really do good. But I know someone, and I will keep referring all my students. I keep referring all my mentees. And, and I'm like, you know what? I need to be able to contribute better into their lives. I need to expose them. I need to provide chances, I need to provide platforms for them. So the people that tell me, but why are you doing this? Aren't they going to take your money? No, I am Bahati, and no one can replace me. No one can take my position. Now, that is working from a place of rest. That is working from a place of thriving. That is working from a place of abundance. And abundance that you can actually work towards. You don't need, and I know that I'm talking to this, and some women are thinking, oh, I get married, and no, we don't get married into abundance. No. Let me tell you, you can be a wife of a rich man and you are in survival mode, constant survival mode. So let me also break that myth. Yeah, you can be a wife of a rich man and you are in survival mode. Do you know what it means to be asking for money I need some, and you're even editing. Yes, you're editing. There is hair that we do as women that is actually, what, 3 millions, 2 millions. I know some of you be like, Yes. There are some women here on Kampala streets that are putting on hair, or they are plaiting hair of 3 millions. So now you want to, like, even if you give me 300,000, but the kind of hair that you want to do is actually 1 million shillings or 1.5, whatever it is, or even if it is 500,000 or 300,000. Some of you will be like, but Bahati, can you talk about our level? Kali, even if the hair is 100,000, but you have to go to someone and say, it's okay, even if you give me 30,000 will be enough. At least I can be able. That means inside of you are bargaining for a lower kind of type of hairstyle, but you would have intended for a different hairstyle, but because you have to lean on someone, depend on someone to give you that money, then you're not rich. Rich or wealthy, or wealthiness cannot be gotten by osmosis or rubbing off shoulders. Yes. So you can be spouses, and the woman is rich and the man is not rich, or the woman is in a higher class and the man is in the middle class. Yes, there is nothing. But when you say that, when two become one, yes, two become one, but it doesn't take away the fact that you will be struggling financially, and maybe the other person will not be struggling financially. It's very possible. I want you to think about it in a very logical way, not in an emotional way, because some of you are about to slap your emotions on me. I want you to think about it in a very logical way. As women, you understand that you can have a man that has the money, has investments, and you have nara. You have nothing. Nothing. So that should not, it's not your ticket. Oh, let me marry a rich person. You would actually, some people are more miserable than when they are with people in the same class and they're fighting hard and they are getting from one class to another. All right? So it's not going to happen by osmosis. It's not going to rub off because you are espoused to someone. You have to put in the time. So stop being delusional. And how you get out of delusion, 1 Corinthians 3:18 says, do not deceive yourselves. If any of you think you are wise by the standards of this age, you should become fools so that you may become wise. Do not deceive yourself. Do not confuse yourself. Do not confuse position for provision. Okay? Do not confuse position for provision. Real wealth comes from wisdom and stewardship. Wisdom and stewardship. Not the wishy-washy kind of thinking. No. Not, it will be okay. It will be okay. Who is going to make it okay? Even God is a miracle worker, but he's not going to make it rain money. He's not going to make it rain dollars. He says he will bless the works of your hands. So a man that is not delusional, and I usually talk about the delusion when it comes to the believing, be delusional. Yeah, but there I'm usually addressing the fact that you are doing what you have to do, but you are believing that there could be bigger results. Because yes, that when you do the works of your hands, when you put your gift to use, you can never know which doors can open. Yes, and sometimes it will open bigger doors than you ever imagined. Now, that is the delusion of this thing can be bigger than but I am doing what I am stewarding this. I am being wise. I am showing up how I need to show up. And I just don't know the doors that this can actually, but I believe that bigger doors are going to happen. That is a good kind of delusion, because you're doing something that God can actually bless you, that you're putting your hands to work. But the delusion, the delusion that I'm talking about is the one where you're hoping things will be fine, things will get better, but there is no foundation, no work, no showing up. Like there is nothing. You have not planted. How do you expect to reap from a garden that has nothing planted in it? That is a trap. That is a trap. All right? So I want us to get very, very, very clear on this, that we want to be better, but we have to be able to kill the distraction. We have to take away the debt dependence. We have to take away the delusion, the false security of things are going to be fine, and yet they are not going to be fine. And then some of us, we are experiencing delay, or we are causing the delay. We are starting the delay. We are procrastinating, okay, wealth creation. We are procrastinating on even getting out of the middle class. When you know that, by the way, where I am is not where I want to be. Yeah, I don't want to be calculating money. I don't want to be worried about the future. I don't want to be in that place. So I am not going to delay the decisions that I'm going to make. People that keep postponing, they postpone on saving, they postpone on investment, they postpone on starting a business, they postpone on building a brand, they postpone on everything. They're like, you know what, I will do it tomorrow, I will do it tomorrow, I will do it. But while today they are worried about where the food is going to come from, they are worried about school fees. Yes, the school fees times, they are worried about so many things. Some people can even get pregnant, and they start worrying, when the child comes, will I be able to manage? They have had 9 months of planning, or even, deciding what they are going to do with their lives. I have seen even women that don't have men in their lives, that the irresponsible men got them pregnant, and they decided to opt out of their responsibility. And a woman says, I'm going to work until the 9 months. I'm going to open that business. I'm going to build a brand. I have had people in accelerated mentorship that are building brands while 7 months pregnant, 8 months pregnant, and they did so well. Now, so many of us, because of the comfort of average life, the comfort of mediocre life, the comfort of the middle class, we tend to procrastinate on every single thing in our lives. So that means we are delaying ourselves. The soul of a sluggard craves and gets nothing. That is Proverbs 13:4. The soul of a sluggard craves and gets nothing, while the soul of the diligent is richly supplied. The diligent in their work, the diligent in showing up, the diligent in building, the diligent, as in the soul of the diligent, is richly supplied. But the soul of a sluggard craves and gets nothing. If you've ever been in that place where you crave and there is nothing, you starve and there is nothing, you hunger and there is nothing, you thirst and there is nothing. Those are some of things that sent me wild. That when I became a mother, I even became wilder, if I can use the statement. I'll be like, never in the history of my making will my children ever lack anything. Never, as in never. And I make that decision now. And I put a plan to work. And I make sure that I secure their future. I don't want to be living in survival mode all the time. No, I don't want that. And I don't think you want that. But we delay ourselves, the soul of a sluggard. And some of you are already finding yourselves. Some of you, this scripture speaks to you. You know, you've even laughed at yourself and you'll be like, you know what? Yeah, indeed, I am the soul of the sluggard that craves and gets nothing. And it's time to change that. I need to be able to start building that brand. I need to be able to start building that business. I need to be able to make some investments. I'm not going to eat the seed. I eat everything that comes my way. Can I put something aside into investment? Can I save? Can I plan to start that business? Can I be more visionary? Can I try to take some risks? Okay, so transformation happens when you take action now. The small, consistent action points and steps, they compound into abundance. People that don't just start with abundance. No. You start by the compounding small steps, the repeated consistent steps of saving, of investing, of finding out, getting more financial knowledge. Because that is what you actually need. That is what we actually need. So I don't want you to be trapped. The reason as to why I actually make time and make all this content and make sure that we have this chat is because I know that you have a lot more potential seated deep on the inside of you. But you're not just utilizing it. But surviving is a hard place. It is a hard place. Yes, are you out of poverty? Yes, you're out of poverty. Poverty is no longer chasing you. Now you have settled into mediocrity. Now you have settled. But wait, because that mediocrity is not going to be, and let me say this as well, that mediocrity and that average life and that middle class is not going to be forever. Because the chances of you sliding back into total poverty are very high. Very high. Like, it just doesn't take a lot of work. It just takes you remaining there. Because sometimes we think that there is such a thing as stagnation. That, I'm stagnant. I've been stagnant on this middle class for the past 10 years. No, you've not been stagnant. You've been coming down, but you just didn't know. That is why seasons are becoming harder. That is why you're starting to look weird. That is why you're losing sleep. That is why you're losing appetite. That is why? Because you started while convincing yourself that you are okay, the delusions of being okay. But now you are face to face with the fact that you're actually not okay. You're face to face with the fact that you've been surviving for a longest time and you started sinking and you're not making headway. And that is a very bad place to be. So stop delaying yourself. Stop delaying yourself. Because if you decide today that you want different, and I've told people this as it regards to building a brand, because building a brand is it's a modern day currency to being anything, to even living a life of abundance. Whether you're a leader, whether you're a CEO, whether you're a C-suite executive, whatever it is, building a personal brand right now is what helps you thrive. It's what helps you get paid. It's what helps you be seen and be heard. It's what helps you build a thriving business. So it all comes down to building a personal brand. But did you know that someone can build a personal brand in as low as 7 days? They can get the knowledge that they need, and they can start executing, and the results can be immediate. 7 days. So those things of thinking, but that's going to take long, no, things have been simplified. Right now, in accelerated mentorships, I deal more in blueprints, I deal more in roadmaps than giving people the, what are they? The conventional long courses. While you're talking about the same things, but you're prolonging them for the next 12 weeks, or you're prolonging them for the next 3 months or 4 months or something like that. Why not have a marathon of 7 days? I give you everything that you need with all the examples that you need and with all the possibilities, with the templates, with the workbooks, with, as in, it is you filling into the formula and finding out what you have to do. So if you don't do it, it is your decision, but you know what to do. I have equipped you with what to do in 7 days. So you know the whole scope of what you must be able to do step by step, guided. And so you tell me, but I didn't do it because it was hard. It's okay. Poverty is hard as well. Lacking food is hard. Yeah, not being able to pay your hospital bill is hard as well. So choose your hard. Choose your hard. All right. So many of us are delaying ourselves. Sometimes so many of us are trading time for money. Yeah. So the income stops when you stop working. No structures, no systems, no business, nothing. You have not set anything. It's like you have to be on this hamster wheel for the rest of your life. Hamster wheel. That is why I'm saying start a side business. And your side business can be as good as building a personal brand. Do you know when you build a personal brand, you can have 8 to 10 streams of income. 8 to 10 streams of income. So while you're in your office doing your executive job, why not build a personal brand that can guarantee that, number one, you impact people. Yes, you transform other people's lives. So you're working from a point of satisfaction. We find your purpose, we develop your purpose, we deploy your purpose. So you become a speaker. Yeah. So if your passion is in high performance, you speak about high performance. If your passion is in effective communication, PR, or whatever it is, you start speaking about that. So you're invited and paid to speak. Yeah. You can actually teach others. You can, as in, there are so many things. You can do one-on-one sessions. You can write books. You can, as in, there are so many things that you can actually do. But why don't we do them? We are trading time for money. So when work stops, income stops. And that is all done. So I need you to redeem yourself. Transformation begins here when you create systems, when you build a business, and some of it passion-based, some of it not even passion-based, but industry need. What is needed right now? Okay, can I give a solution? Can I build a personal brand around it? And this personal brand is going to have me earn. And I mean, so I can earn passively, I can earn actively, I can earn now, I can earn even after 15 years, 20 years to come, I will still be earning. So why aren't you creating the systems again? Because whenever we talk about accelerated mentorship and building a brand, some of you think, that is only for coaches, that is only, no. You can build a personal brand as a saloon owner, you can build a personal brand as executives, just like I said, managers of companies, you can build a personal brand from any industry where you are, and it will be a thriving, paying personal brand. And we just don't build personal brands, but we monetize the personal brands. All right, so quit trading time for money. And here you read John 4:38. So I sent you to reap for which you did not labor. Others have labored, and you have entered into their labor. Let me tell you, people are going to work, and they're going to bring to your bosom. Because number one, they will be buying something that they really love, but something that you offer with a lot of excellence. And I mean, it's like God has opened a way for you to actually just go and get. All right. But if you just stay in obscurity and still grinding and still chasing after, trading time for money, because I have to work these amounts of hours in order to be paid these amounts of hours. It's so insane when you build a personal brand. And I think I should create just a masterclass for some of you that are just beginning in this, or would want to have a clear picture of what this is, so that you can know what it entails and what chances and opportunities actually lie ahead of you. All right, so that you will stop trading just time for money. Because then what happens when you get old? What happens when you fall sick? What happens when you can't? What happens when the economy changes? You need to be able to buffer yourself so well. So there's so many things that I could have talked about, but I think I will have to create another episode for this particular getting out of the hamster wheel, getting out of the middle class, getting out of mediocrity, getting out of average earning, getting out of it. Poverty was chasing you and you managed to get out of the lowest class. But now that you're in the second class, the middle class, you're tending to settle because of comfort. And I wouldn't want you to settle, because when you start settling, you start going down. However, when you build your empire, when you build more, when you invest more, when you do more, then you are crossing into another class where you have not just security for yourself, but for other people. You're able to serve, you're able to help, you're able to be, you can do charity, apart from that, but just living in a life where you are serving God, where you raise your hands every day and thank God and just be grateful about how far He has brought you. All right, so I need us to celebrate those milestones. And if you are the kind that wants to start to begin your journey in personal branding, get to me. Just send me a WhatsApp on that number and just write personal brand. I will be able to send you the details of how to fast track this. Even if it's in 7 days, we can do a run through, we can do a challenge for 7 days, and you will know exactly what you need to do, when you need to do it, how you need to do it, and there are proven methods and the proven results, and you will be so glad that you actually do something for yourself this year where you can pat yourself on the shoulder and say, I actually did this, I did this. And for me, it's just going to help you to get out of the middle class. Yeah, it's going to help you get out of survival mode and live in the abundance that God promised. I love you. Bless you.